And what's going on, guys? Mini Call here, coming at you with the part one of yesterday's video that got cut off, rather, because of the crappy Wi-Fi at my hotel last night in Nashville. So still in Los Angeles, and we are talking Dark Dimension 4, and just kind of my thoughts and why I disagree with some of the content creators that are currently kind of, saying that there's real no rush to get into Dark Dimension 4 and that you should take your time and it'll happen when it happens and all this other like garbage that is totally false. I don't buy into any of it. And I've got a couple thoughts on that, and then just to kind of continue on yesterday's video on the part that got cut, we'll be talking about the item preparations that you can be doing in the stores, as well as just some kind of advanced team building strategies. And the bulk of the team building strategy is actually in yesterday's video, so check that out if you haven't already. But first, let's start off with the kind of mentality that Dark Dimension 4 will just happen when it happens, and, just for lack of a better word, I mean, it's not going to just happen. Dark Dimension 4 involves a lot of planning. It's very gear dependent. I would say it's even character specific. So it's not something like Dark Dimension 1 where you're just eventually going to have a 6-star character. That's just not how this works. Dark Dimension 2, 3, etc. are very similar to that, where you don't just randomly have Gear Tier 13 characters or Gear Tier 14 characters. And the exact same thing can be said for Gear Tier 15 characters. So kind of what I am recommending is you start planning Dark Dimension 4 as early as possible. This doesn't even matter if you haven't even started Dark Dimension 3 yet. And in fact, if you haven't started Dark Dimension 3 yet, it's even better because you can plan your Dark Dimension 3 and your Dark Dimension 4 teams at the exact same time. And this just kind of maximizes your resources, and you're not going to have to build up a team for Dark Dimension 3 and then a team for Dark Dimension 4. So while we're talking about that, let's first and foremost kind of look at the gear that is required for Dark Dimension 4. That is going to be your G15 uniques. You'll always get one in the gold store, and they're sometimes... let me just make sure I'm not lying. You'll see them in the gold store. There'll always be at least one. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll see two. That's the most I've ever seen, was two. And then in your war store, you will also see always one. Again, there's a possibility that you might see two. So those are two places that they kind of pop up randomly. Another place that you do have access to these G15 pieces is your orange Gear War Orb level 2, and if you're not opening up these orbs, you should be. The reasoning behind that is number one, you are going to get these G15 pieces, and you're always going to get one. You'll get 6 of any of the ones listed below. That's a guarantee. The other thing you'll also be getting is these, basically these generic orange gear pieces. All characters require these in some shape or form. And then in the center pillar, the left pillar rather, you are going to have a possible chance at getting some of the character-specific uniques, which there is no direct way to farm these. These can only be either purchased in the stores or in this orb. So these are basically unfarmable in any nodes, and all characters need these in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of the better characters tend to share sometimes the same unique, or if they're kind of a similar lore. Alien spores, for example, are shared by all the symbiotes. The Gravitonium is shared by X Factor, the Dad Bros, Yellow Jacket, as well as Moon Knight over here. So, you definitely want to do this. And again, you get 6 of one of these uniques. So it's a really great way to start stockpiling these. For those uniques, that is kind of the far left middle gear piece. So, if you're looking at a character to take them to gear tier 13, you need 12 of them. Gear tier 14 is going to be 24, and then gear tier 15 is going to be 25. So you need 61 of these just to take one character up to G15. So if you're having characters that share a similar trait, say the symbiotes. Just to bring up 2 symbiotes, you're going to need 122 of these. You're bringing up a third, you're looking at 183. So that's why I say G15 and DD4 isn't just going to magically happen. It needs to be planned. So definitely what you should be doing is stockpiling uniques for the character traits, as well as G15 pieces. So when you're looking in your gold store, kind of look at the characters you are planning to bring in. If at all possible, if you can bring in for each one of the sections, remember you have to bring in at least a total of 4 characters up to a maximum of 5. Try to bring in one of each origin trait, and that way you should hopefully be able to spread out your uniques as well as the G15 pieces. Now, this isn't always possible, based off of the team. Sometimes you might be bringing in 2 characters of the same trait, and it might take you a little bit longer to farm them, but it probably is going to give you better results. But so, if you can bring in a mystic character, a mutant character, a city character, so actually scratch that. So if you could bring in a cosmic character, a city character, this is all wrong. My apologies, guys. Getting my notes confused. So basically, let's start this over. If you're going into the global section, so we'll start off with global because I do recommend you building global first. In your global sections, if you can bring in a global mutant, if you could bring in a global mystic, a global skill, and a global tech, that way none of them are sharing origin pieces or a global bio, and try to kind of look at it that way. So when you're kind of planning your team, select global, look at your first origin trait, and we'll just do bio, and look at your bio characters and who would make a good DD4 character. In the other video I did already kind of select my team, and I do show that off. So if you are interested in that, please check that out. This is going to be more focused on farming the gear and farming the supply store. And again, please check out that other video if you're more interested in the actual teams. But so if you can kind of divide this up, it certainly is going to make your life a little easier. So just to kind of really quick show off the team that I have, this is basically what I've pre-selected. And, this was kind of the best plan for me. So when I'm looking at all my characters here, try to figure out if you don't have the character already to gear tier 12, go on msf.gg and you can find out what that character's unique is and start farming it. So with that being said, looking on our supply store, I am possibly taking Minerva into Dark Dimension 4. So I am farming these superior gamma radiations whenever I see them, because I know Minerva is going to need them. So you can see here my Minerva is only gear tier 12, so she is going to need 61 gamma radiations just to get into G15. So I've got quite a bit of farming to do for that still. And then, when I see a G15 piece, I buy it. It doesn't matter if I have over 100. They go really quick. Every character, when they're doing a G15 gear node, is going to require 18 pieces each of their origin gear. So just to kind of show off real quick, we'll look at Symbiote Spider-Man, for example. When you're looking at his bio gear for the G15, he's going to need 18 of these, and then he's also going to need 18 of these. Some characters are more expensive than others, and they will actually have 4 gear slots that do require G15. So, when you're looking at that, just to bring up that type of character, you're going to need 72 of those G15 uniques. So, a character like Symbiote Spider-Man, he's got 1. This is a normal one, so it's got 1. There's 2 right there, 3, and then 4. So Symbiote Spider-Man's an expensive character. So right off the bat, Symbiote Spider-Man alone is going to cost you 72 of those G15 uniques. If you're bringing in one bio character per origin trait, or per, I think, affiliation, or whatever they classify, like the global, city, etc. So if you're bringing in, one bio character for global, one bio character for cosmic, one for city, and one for legendary, you're looking at 4 bio characters, 72 pieces of gear each. You're going to need at least 288 of those G15 uniques. So when I say farm them as early as you can, start doing it. And that's only if you take in 4 bio characters. I plan to probably take in at least 2 symbiotes for city. So, that's another 72. So I'm potentially looking at 360 bio uniques just for bio alone. And then, again, same thing with all the other origin traits. So when you're looking at them, the best way to kind of keep track, and actually I am going to go in here and purchase this. This is actually for the Mystic characters. And so right now I am saving my war currency. Pretty much the only thing I'm buying is G15 uniques as well as Ghost, and that's just really because I am really farming to hopefully get Jubilee on her next pass around. So all I'm using my war currency on, G15 uniques and Ghost shards. Then, like I said, I am buying these orange Gear War Orbs level 2, and like I said, if you are not buying these, please start. That way you can start stockpiling that gear. So when we are looking, just to kind of go over our G15 pieces, thankfully they are grouped in the actual grouping, so it's not like all scattered all over the place. So these first 2 are your bio uniques, the next 2 are your mutant uniques, the next 2 are mystic uniques, then skill uniques, and then tech uniques. And, you can kind of just go in here and look and see how many you have. And, if you're bringing in 4 characters of each trait, like I said, you need at least 288 to take up the full set. So, looking here, pretty much all of these, I'm around the 100 mark for the most part. Some of them have been depleted a little bit because I have, I think, started taking up some of the characters, or at least equipping pieces of gear. So yeah, so it's a good way to kind of keep track of it. Now, with that being said, so now that you are farming these pieces, when is the best time to go in? And honestly, there isn't a, best time. I would say the sooner the better. So what I'm kind of planning to do on Mini is, as soon as I get to level 80, and as soon as I can start taking my global team to level 80, I'm going to start trying to get them into Dark Dimension 4. There is a good possibility I will still probably be on my first run in Dark Dimension 3, and I'm okay with that. Dark Dimension 3 is a bit of a nightmare. It takes forever. It is not as... it doesn't feel like you're progressing as much, especially when you get to the global section of Dark Dimension 3. Whereas on Dark Dimension 4, on my other 2 accounts, I feel like I'm making progress every day, and, you can kind of see the finish line. And the rewards for Dark Dimension 4, while the actual node rewards aren't the greatest, they're similar to Dark Dimension 3, the end result of getting Doom is just, to me it's worth it, and the sooner you get Doom, the better you're going to be doing. Doom, while he doesn't create this crazy unbeatable defense in Arena, he definitely is shaping up to be part of the top Arena teams as far as offense. And, for the newer players, the earlier you're able to get Doom, the earlier you're able to dominate your Arena shard. For Khaleesi, been playing that account for over 3 years now, so my Arena Shard is filled with veteran players, and even on Khaleesi, not a lot of people have beaten Dark Dimension 4. So I still think I can kind of get a little bit of a competitive edge, and if Mini is able to do it kind of this soon in the game, I think that's going to give Mini a really big edge for quite some time. So basically, once I hit level 80, I am going to start building this team up to level 80. And, there's definitely some characters that I think are kind of the primary focus. And when you're running into situations where you have two characters of the same origin, where in this case I have two tech characters, you definitely want to prioritize one over the other. And in this case, the priority is Ghost, and the secondary tech priority is going to be Yellow Jacket. Stature is my bio character here. Emma Frost is going to be my mutant, and Zemo is going to be my skill character. And, that's who I'm planning to bring in. So as soon as I get to level 80, the next plan for Minnie, start taking those first 5 characters to level 80, getting them to G15, and then getting into DD4 as soon as possible. I definitely think this should be a high priority if you are, interested in endgame, if you're looking to boost your roster. DD4 should be a priority. I think kind of top priorities, building a good raid team for whatever content you're currently raiding in, building a good arena team, progressing through the campaign so you are able to farm the orange gear nodes is obviously very important, especially when you're talking about getting into Dark Dimension 3 and Dark Dimension 4. And then working towards DD4 is just a very top priority for me. And so at this point, at this high level, Minnie's at level 78. It is going to take a while to get to level 80. If I remember kind of the track record, it took about 2 weeks on Khaleesi and Dracarys to get one level. So I am expecting to hopefully be level 80 by a month from now, or 30 days. So probably early May for Mini Call. And at that point, I will start building up my first 5 characters to level 80. So that's just kind of the expanded, or how the other video was actually supposed to start. And then it was supposed to go into breaking down the individual teams. So I would kind of say, forget what the other content creators have been saying about DD4 you can wait. I don't think that is good advice. Doom is too good of a character to, say, oh, I'll just do it a year from now, or, it'll happen when it happens. Again, DD4 is not just one of those random things that are going to occur. It has to be methodical, it has to be planned, and the sooner you start planning, I think the sooner you will benefit from said planning. So that's going to wrap up this video. Please like and subscribe if you found this helpful. I'm curious to hear what your roster plans are for DD4, and if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to me either in-game or on Discord. Again, thank you so much for watching. Take it easy and enjoy the rest of your week.